Welcome to We Watch Stupid. I'm Roxy. Diana is out today. She had a baby, our first We Watch Stupid baby, Saturday, very early in the morning. Very, very happy for the family and everybody's doing okay. But today we have a very special guest. I'm welcoming my friend Noemi back. Thank you so much for being here, Noemi.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to talk about the new couples.
Yeah, totally. Noemi, what have you been up to? Like, is there any other trash that you're watching that you need to tell us about?
I will say I did watch what is it? The Love at First Sight. I've been
Love is
it's
Blind?
Love is Blind, but also Love at First Sight, the UK version. Oh no, Married at First Sight, excuse me. The
Oh,
UK
okay.
version. If you guys are not into it, please watch it. It's like a whole nother animal. It's way more produced, way more drama, and I love it.
Okay. I tried watching the Married at First Sight US version, and it's just like not the right kind of cringe for me, but maybe I just didn't give it like long enough, you
The
know,
US version is a little different, and I
because the accents.
yeah, exactly. It's not as compelling to watch it. I was just like, no."
Do you think that you watch just because of the accents? Is it an equal amount of stupidity or a different amount of stupidity?
It's a different amount. It's okay, so the difference is that they have, like, therapists, like, guiding them
Oh.
through it. So I kinda like that portion, and it also but at the same time, I'm like, "You guys, the therapist did not do a good job at matching people." So, you also are able to, like, judge the therapist, but learn a little bit. But, I mean, honestly, it's just I also like the setup. So, what's different is there's, like, an event, like the week about intimacy, and then the couples all engage in a dinner party, and then they have, like, a therapy session. I like that setup about, of the, like, program or whatever.
I wanted to talk about just Justin Igor and his behavior a little bit and how there is like no contiguous standard for how cast members are supposed to behave. It seems like it's just kind of up to production sometimes to like say who gets kicked off and who doesn't. It's very odd to me who gets kicked off and who doesn't. So, uh, just Igor this week, someone posted on Reddit that he had been dressed up as a Nazi soldier and in an SS uniform on his Instagram. He like filmed himself in this uniform. It looked like there was a friend with him in his car. They were like dressed up as SS soldiers, singing, all the stuff. He had it on his Instagram as early, I think it was posted like this
This
summer.
year.
And of course he still is appearing on the show. Other like I just don't understand why he gets to stay and other people.
I mean, especially because he's not, like, really giving ratings. Like, I don't feel like they could make that judgment, you know? Like, but you're gonna choose to keep him?
Yeah, like Alina and Caleb, she was the Russian woman where they met in Turkey. She did blackface and she got booted off like immediately. Like she was severed from the season. And then Just Igor wears this really terrible outfit and he gets to stay.
But do you think that there hasn't been enough, like, time between it? Because technically the episode came out today, and he posted it what? Oh, no, earlier this year. Why did I think this Halloween?
I
I
don't
am
know
just
how
like
yeah, no,
like,
it's
it
been
just
some
happened.
time. Yeah, I don't know. See, again, I don't know how any of that works. Yeah, like they were able to cut Alina out like mid-season and yet he gets to stay. Anyways, it's a bummer. It sucks. It makes it hard to like want to engage with their storyline, but he like immediately he took it down, and then he was like, Americans are too woke, like, you guys are sensitive, you're stupid, you never have any fun, which is just gross.
Which also now really makes it hard for me to understand his logic with Nikki. I'm trying to be like, okay, all right, but no,
Yeah,
no.
we'll get to them. There's a lot going on with them. Just another little piece of internet that I found was someone didn't ask me anything because they used to work with Rob the Knob at a pot shop a couple years back. They did this ask me anything on Reddit, and they don't seem like the best source because they were like really proud that they like made him cry on several occasions, which like isn't really cool. But basically, they said he's just like a man child in every way, and he seems well behaved on TV based on their experience with him, which is like, that's a real bummer to think about that this is his quote unquote best
Best
behavior, you know?
behavior. Well, I mean, to think that that is his best behavior because you think production is gonna cast you in the worst light.
Yeah, he's a weird one. Do we want to? Do you want to jump in and start with them? He's like, we need to have a serious talk about whether we want to have kids. And I just can't get over that he's like so serious about having kids, yet he's 33 years old and like hasn't been like looking for a wife. He like is a self-admitted like player.
Or or he hasn't even been, like, working towards providing a stable home, Like, what? Do you want your child to go to the bathroom outside? Like, what's going on? I also he's, like, so serious about this conversation, but he seems so uninterested in her. Like, throughout
Totally.
the initial, um, scenes, he literally is uninterested. He's like, it could be anyone but her. I don't know, there's something off.
You're right. He just wants like a hot woman. It could be interchangeable. He wants a hot person that's just going to go along with whatever he says, which is just like literally the most baseline like uninteresting dude that you could like possibly think of. I feel like he's just gotten a pass on this shit because he's hot throughout his whole life. Like nobody's held him accountable for shit because he's hot, you know?
I know, because I wrote childish vibes. Like, when I was, like, hearing him speak, I was like, "Oof, oof." I don't know. I also was very, like, what is it about I didn't like the conversation, like, how the
No.
conversation was, like, being had. Like, I want children, my children. So, like, the inference was biologically his children, like, not adoption, not a family. It was like, I want children. I don't know. It's like, you're not having them, dude. Like, and also think about, like, you're not even taking into account that maybe you or your partner will have infertility issues. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, no, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, so they start talking about the pregnancy. She clarifies that it's the pregnancy that she's like not interested in because of her medical history, not necessarily the family. And I think what she's trying to get at here is that when she told him about her surgery, he never dug any deeper. He didn't ask anything about her ovarian cyst and the surgery that she had to have when she was 15. So I am also curious because if you have a problem with one ovary, you still have another ovary.
Mhm.
So I feel like it doesn't seem like her fertility is zero, but it does seem like she's just freaked out about the idea of being pregnant.
Then he doesn't even say, "I hear you, tell me more about it." He like, he was like, "Well, I want kids." Well, I was like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah, it's bad. And then she puts out, okay, if you really want a family, the options are adoption or surrogacy. And he's like, "Well, I want my biological children, so I want to do the surrogacy." And I'm like, "With what money, dude?" Like, does this is just such magical thinking to me. He just like thinks he will magically manifest someone who wants to have kids with him without bringing anything to the table except being hot, without asking anything about their values or interests
Yeah,
or like medical history. And then, okay, so you want to do surrogacy? That's like, I think probably like 200 grand.
it's expensive.
It's super expensive. He's like telling this 20 something year old woman who is like impressionable. It's not like she's not her own person, but he's like telling her what he wants and being really intense about it. And then he's like, but you need to make that decision for yourself. It's like, I don't
Like,
know if she's even like, she said that she's trying to figure out her life. She like literally hasn't thought about it that hard. And you're telling her she needs to figure it out, but like, you clearly want an answer like right now. This is a very weird position he's putting her in.
it's a very weird way for him to go about it. Like, I just feel like he's so uninterested in her, and yet he wants her to have his children. Like, and tell me now, is it gonna happen? Yes or no? Because I gotta make it happen somehow. I
I know he's acting like he has this like biological clock ticking.
Thank you, thank you. I was like, where is the urgency coming from?
I mean, I guess, you know, some people want to be younger parents and that's valid, but again, if this was his MO, if he could not live without being a parent, why wasn't he working on this sooner? This is so dumb.
I'm gonna say as we speak, I think it's his way of getting out of the relationship. I am going to stick with him not being interested in her. Because if you want kids, I'm sorry, but your conversation is not gonna be like, well, my kid's name is gonna be. You're gonna have a direct conversation. Hey, do you want kids? It wouldn't have been the first time when his sister brought it up, you know? It's just not gonna happen. So now he's just like, no kids. I It's an excuse. I'm sorry. It's an excuse. I'm sticking with that. Cause I don't think he cares.
I think he cares about himself and how being in a partnership makes him look, and that's why he wants a hot person because he wants to be
Mm.
perceived as like a guy that can land a hot woman. I think that's all that the relationship really does for him. And then like children are like also a marker of success somehow for him. But yeah, I think you're onto something. Like he doesn't actually give a shit who it's with. He just like wants these markers of success because he doesn't really have anything going on.
Yeah, he really doesn't. Could I just say something so rude that I, like, noticed? And I was like, "Ugh, I don't know why I noticed this." I was like, when she was talking, I don't know if this is I'm, like, jumping, but no, I'm jumping. So the next scene from them, they were getting ready to go to the club, and
Hmm.
she was, pulling some dresses, and when he said, "That just cost a lot," it gave me the ick, and I usually don't get I understand, like, living is expensive. I get it. But, like, stop talking about it in every instance that it's just so expensive you can't afford it, and yeah, you want kids. I'm just saying. I don't like it. I don't like it.
He's also like he clearly has a chip on his shoulder that she can afford stuff that he
Mm.
can't, and that makes him feel like less of a man, and then he just like has to make her feel bad for having stuff, like
Yeah.
having things with money that she earned or that her family has. Like he's making it into this moral conundrum for her that she like has things and he doesn't have an indoor toilet. Did you have anything of note about Sophie talking to her mom?
Oh, it seemed more of a, like, sister relationship that they've built than a mother-daughter relationship, to be honest.
Yeah, because she does say, like, I'm not the best relationship advice person. And then Sophie kind of laughs, like, yeah, I fucking know.
It's like, "No need to tell me."
The one thing that I thought was funny was that Sophie's mom says that when she talks to Rob, he looks at her like she's crazy or like he doesn't understand her. And I just couldn't help thinking, like, I wonder if he just, like, can't understand her accent or something. Like, he's that dumb. He's so dumb.
But he also does have that look, like
Dumb face.
yes, like, I don't know, he has a look maybe that's why I'm, like, misinterpreting it as, like, not interested, but, like, he definitely has a face of, like, "What's happening?" Like, "You're asking me to be oth anything other than pretty? That's too much." Like, "No, I can't."
I think you're onto something there. Okay, so they go to the club and they meet with Tarai. They're meeting Tarai and then her friend Sarai at this club, and Tarai is like immediately a dick. So rude to her face.
I mean, you would think that he was dating her, you know? Like, you would think that he was the one in the relationship asking all them questions, but I also was like, is it not a thing? Like, do they not know that it's a thing to be on a dating app for friends? Or was he getting a vibe that she was bi? Like, what's going on? I don't know. It just seemed a little bit too much for a friend to be asking 21 questions about like, "Oh, are you sure it was a date?" Like,
He was, like, trying to make it look cheeky and, like, cute asking these questions, but it came off as, like, super rude and uncomfortable. Tarai in his ITM says she knows Rob has a soft spot for her and she's using that to her advantage. Like, bro, they're engaged. That's not like having a soft spot for her. They're engaged. And to what advantage? She's coming to the UK from the UK where she had like a nice apartment and there's no gun violence to the US where she's living without an indoor toilet and there's
honestly.
gun violence and Rob doesn't seem to care. I know that Inglewood isn't as violent as like Rob makes it out to be, but like the fact that there is gun violence in the US and that there's not gun violence in the UK is it appears to be a thing for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you used a dating app to meet friends before?
Have Bumble has it. So I
Yeah.
have. I haven't been successful, just like the actual dating component. The friend
But
component has
but
also
the
not been
friends part
successful.
works.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You're
that's
able to
cool.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a thing. So that's why I was like, why are you being so dismissive of it? Like it's a real thing, dude. Like
I mean, it seems like, Soraya has known her from 2 years off of this app, so it clearly works in some capacity. I mean, I know that I've definitely, like, gone on dates with people and then ended up friends, so, like, the idea that Tarai seems, like, bewildered that even that could be
a thing.
a thing. It's like, "Okay, Tarai, you were just." He says women are capable of anything. I don't wanna project my experience though. It's like, "Try you're just telling us that you hate women, so just shut up. We can see through this. Like, nobody thinks that you're, like, that charming and cute. You're just telling us that you hate women, so."
Basically. You're I like the scene where they were dancing. I expected a little bit more like better moves. But their little dance scene was like, "Really? Are you the one that made her stop because you were gonna do all these, like, bust the move, and this is
He
all
can't
you did?" I was like, "No, no, 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 no."
he can't really dance. I mean, that airport dance was embarrassing. So, they can't actually dance. I'm also curious how long they were, like, actually in this club. Like, it looked like they went, took a shot, got 1 drink, and then were just there for filming. I don't know. Like, it didn't look like they were actually having fun.
Yeah, it really didn't look like they were having fun, which is sad. I also expected her and her friend to have, like, a little side talk and, like, more into that conversation, which I
Oh,
was kinda
yeah.
bummed that they didn't. But,
Yeah, just get to know Soraya a little bit. She seems really sweet, and, like, she clearly knows Rob, which, like, okay, they've been friends for 2 years. She comes and she hangs out with Soraya every time she's been in LA. Like, how does Tarai not know her or, like, Rob not know more about her? Like, that was all suspicious to me.
it I didn't read into that, and now I am.
Well, like,
Hmm.
they, like,
Oh,
play
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
up
yeah.
for
Yeah,
the drama of the
exactly.
show.
Exactly. Huh.
Okay, so then whatever, they're at the club, and then next thing we know, she moved out. She put on her Instagram this week that she was in a new apartment, and she didn't say a lot about it in the Instagram video. She was just like doing a makeup tutorial, but then she happened to be in a different bathroom and people were like, "What?"
So wait, spoiler, are they together?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't
But
know.
yeah, so the next thing she moved out, she had a dream that Rob online cheated.
I laughed so hard because listen, it's true.
Is that enough evidence to go through someone's phone?
That's just part of your gut telling you.
She checked his Instagram, didn't find anything, and then she went to another app and found disgusting videos. It's like, what is this app? OnlyFans? Unfiltered?
Would that be considered cheating? I thought it was just like Messenger or something because she said he's entertaining it.
Well, it sounds like he's some app where you can message someone and send videos back and forth. So he's like clearly flirting with someone. I don't know. I think that depends on the constraints of your relationship, the
Yeah, for
boundaries you
sure.
put on your relationship. But it sounds like he had done this before and she wasn't cool with it, but then he kept doing it. So this is just some kind of compulsion that he has where he needs pornographic videos from randos to get off when she's not there.
So wait, just so that I remember correctly, he technically cheated on her previously through like again just online virtually, correct?
Yes, online cheating.
Yes. Yes. So he's doing it again.
I don't know if this counts as cheating, but again, if it's like within the constraints of their relationship, she considers it cheating,
No,
then
it's definitely cheating. For her, it's cheating. Like if she already told you don't do it and you're doing it, it's cheating.
he's so dumb.
He really is. I really what did you think about his outburst in the car? I was like, "Oh my god, save the tears." I was so annoyed.
Was he say like I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. I don't want to be with anyone else but you. It's like that's not really good enough. She's totally allowed to kick your ass to the curb. When she is talking about not having anywhere to go, having to uproot her dream, it does really sound like she's only with him to get to LA, but I don't really care because he's such a piece of shit. Like, someone should use him for immigration status.
I agree. I will say when she was talking about it, I was like, oh my god, don't stop it, stop it." I feel like she like, when she was referring to, like, all the investment or the time she put in, like, "What does this mean?" It's like, "Dude, you're so young, stop." You
Yeah.
know? That is not an investment. I get it, you moved over here, but, like, no. Just move on. Don't make it I feel like for her, the way that she was discussing it was very much like, "Oh my god, if this relationship doesn't work, all the time I put in, I'm a failure for it." And I was like, "No."
So that's something that think comes up with Nikki and Igor too. But I mean, that is so real though. I mean, she's so young. Like, put yourself in like 23-year-old Noemi's shoes. Like, you probably would have been thinking about the sunk cost into a relationship and the plane tickets and the
Oh.
time, and she was, they were engaged. It might have been a fake engagement, but they were still engaged. So for her, that's like a huge investment. And like, I just think of like the first time you got your heart broken. I mean, that was
Yeah.
probably just like the most devastating thing. You like never thought you were going to love again.
Yeah, I think you're right, she is impressionable, and she really does love him, which is You think so?
I don't know. the way that she was, and obviously she was mad about the
Yeah,
cheating. I guess if you're mad about someone cheating, that means you like them, right?
I think so. I mean,
It's hard for me to tell. I forget, there were some couples on the last season of Before the 90 Days where Diana kept being like, "No, they're not into each other. It's not real." And it just took me a minute to really come around to it. I'm just slow on the uptake sometimes.
I think if you're crying, never mind. You could just be crying for yourself.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I hope she's not completely blindly in love with him because he's not really offering much. I feel like I don't even know if they're like having conversations like, "Oh, he's very interesting." No, like
I think they both thought that they would look good on each other's Instagram feeds. I think that's about as deep as it went. Oh, and she wanted to get to LA. I think that's about as deep as it goes with these two. I think Sophie is a lot smarter than him, and I do really like her, but yeah, she's still very young and finding her like way in life, you know.
yeah. Did they tell us his relationships, like his previous relationships or no?
No, actually, I don't think we have a good idea of his relationship history.
Okay, because this seems like it's one of his first ones, frankly. Like, the way he is big.
So that person that did the on Reddit was saying they didn't say much about his relationships, but they did say that he basically like flirted his way into the general manager job at this pot shop because the woman that owned it was just kind of like an alcoholic lawyer and thought he was hot. And I think he like went on a date with her or like just flirted his way into that position, but that he would just like get really high before work and then just sit in the back room on his phone like flirting with women on Instagram all day, like didn't actually do his job.
He's being consistent at least.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if they didn't give us a, like, preview of what's happening with them in the next episode, did they?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, well, no, I don't care for him. There's something about him I don't like, and the fact that now we have confirmation that he's worse in person solidifies.
Yeah. Okay, so Nikki and Just Igor.
Wait, you need to remind me, why do you call him just Igor?
Because his name is Igor. She calls him Justin. She changed his name to Justin.
Okay, that's what I figured, and I kinda like it better. Just Igor.
That's so funny because like Igor in Moldova is probably like Justin. You know, it's probably a very common
Very
name,
common.
but for her it reminds her of Quasimodo or whatever.
Yeah, Igor is not a really attractive name, frankly. The sound of it yeah, for us, it's not. For us, I'm like, "Oof, that's harsh." That's a harsh name to, like, name a child.
Igor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they open back up on her giving him this like 48-hour ultimatum to like turn it around. He says he likes the passion from her. And then I think it's in an ITM. He says she has a big heart, but she's not patient and wants sex like a sex machine. But then I think this is telling. He says he needs time to open his body to Nikki. So I feel like that's him. I was on the fence about where he is really at with her,
Mhm.
but I feel like that is him admitting that he's not as attracted to her now that he knows she's trans. But I'm curious if you have just what your take is.
So, okay, so, by the end of it, I came to a realization that they had previously been intimate. So the fact that he is finding it so hard after knowing that she's trans, to me is like, yes, it's a mental block for sure, but I also think that I don't think he's interested. Like, I don't think he's even ready to accept her. But we'll see. We'll see because it was promising. The last few minutes of what's coming up next was promising to me. So,
Her meeting his friends.
yeah, but also even the like oh, and I'm jumping. The scene where he was like kissing her, like in like they went to the restaurant. But you know what? No, I take it back. Erase that.
It was on the cheek. Like, that could have been his mom.
He's giving her breadcrumbs.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yes, he is like, even when she had the tantrum in the park, like, all she wanted was validation, and
Mhm.
him giving her the hug, I was like, "Jeez, you're so easy to please, Nikki." Like, that hug. Yes, I love you. So, like, he is doing the bare minimum, you know? No.
The breadcrumbs, that's a really great way to put it. I've definitely been in relationships like that where, yeah, you really hold on to the little bits that you get, and it, like, keeps you in it long enough to kinda keep you coming back. Yeah, there's a lot going on that I feel like I needed this last week to, like, process after kinda seeing them for a couple of episodes. And, 'cause there's them, I guess, rekindling this relationship, having this new understanding of kind of both their identities because he's getting to know her as like a trans woman now, and he's getting to like understand himself as someone who's attracted to a trans person. And then he's Moldovan, which like the culture and the way they express themselves is like totally different. And then she's also like screaming at him all the time. So there's just like a lot of like, for me, there were like a lot of layers to kind of parse through. But
Yeah.
I came out of this being like, oh yeah, he is not into this.
I feel like I wonder if they've had a conversation. When they talk about sex, is sex. They're like, versus what it means to now have sex with a trans woman. Like it seems like they're separating it. When really the question I think she should be asking is like, are you okay with being with a trans woman? You know? Because he seems to I don't know, like, I just think the answer is no, as of what we've seen, He's like but he's also now wanting to say that because like she says, "I am a source of income for him to some degree."
Yeah, he has an incentive to kinda string her along. I also think that, like, so just going back to the way that they were in a fight when he was this very young person, they have, like, a 20-year difference. Is it that much? Oh, it's like a 15-year age difference between the 2 of them. He was a very young person, he was, like, basically a teenager, and then in the middle of a fight, she says, "I'm trans," to, like, I don't know what she was trying to get out of that. That was like some kind of leverage for her in that fight. That is pretty gross to do that. And I noticed with these arguments, she's really not able to, because she's so worked up and because she's had so much like trauma
Mm,
about being not accepted as a trans person, she's like constantly leading with it and like assuming the worst of what
mhm.
his, like, perception is. Like, there's not a ton of, like, grace in there for him. From what I've seen, it doesn't seem like he deserves it at this point. It sounds like
Yeah.
she's been trying to have this conversation with him, not very productively, like, over and over and over, and he's just, like, dodging it.
Yeah.
Let's assuming that Igor is really attracted to her, and he's not just in it for nose jobs and whatever. The way that she comes at him at, like, every angle about her transness and emasculating him with the money, like, that's not a way into someone's heart, you know? She's just, like, really not giving him any grace here.
Okay, so that's a thought that I need some insight about Nikki. So Nikki is giving sugar mama vibes, but wanting like a full on like you're constantly bringing up the money. would constantly be like, "I paid for this and blah, blah, blah," but then you're like, you know, this is a real relationship, right? I'm like, make it make sense. Like, why are you bringing it up if you don't want it to be an issue?
Totally. So yeah, that is like I feel like that is the biggest issue with their relationship is money. She like I don't understand what she wants out of bringing this up. Does she want him to be like on his knees saying thank you?
Exactly. I mean, if you're bringing it up, it's like, "Listen, I'm the sugar mama now. Get down and do me how I'm paying you." Like, that's now a transaction versus, like, otherwise, then why are you bringing it? Exactly. Like, it's not making him feel more of a man. It's not making him feel attracted to you by bringing it up every second.
She's like kind of making fun of him for asking for money, but she's the one who's giving it. If you don't wanna be in a if, like, it's a problem for you to be in a sugar mama relationship, in a sugar relationship, then don't be in one.
But it's not about the money. It is about the money. Like, we both know it's about the money. Like,
Yeah.
stop, let it go. Just like he says, just enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Save your power for our love.
So glad you
Save
remember.
your power for our love.
I laughed so hard when he said that. I was like, "Ah, it's so easy to fall for him."
He's really hot. Also, somehow that seems to work. Like, that is the line that works on her. Like, for some reason, that's the thing that gets her to calm down. I'm like, "What parallel dimension did we just go into? How is that the thing that worked on her?"
Exactly. Oh my god. I don't know.
I also hate that she keeps saying that her hormone shot that she took before she got there is the thing that's driving her crazy. It's like, "No, girl, been driving you nuts before your hormone shot." Like, please don't blame it on the hormones. That's
Don't act
crazy.
like this is not you. Even your mother knows. Your
I
mo your mother called you out on it.
I know, she says we've been talking about the intimacy, and the mom immediately is like, "Well, did you have a civil conversation, or did you scream and go to 1,000?" She's like, "Well, no, and my hormone shots, hello, I'm trans, my hormone shots, that's why I can act like a monster." She's probably not also telling her mom that she's sending this man $7,000 for a nose job that she probably pressured him into, you know?
Mm-mm. No, 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 no. No, no. What else happened with them other than that? Oh, yeah, wait. So then they go to the dinner. What happened with the, like, other customers? I feel like I missed it.
She says she got clocked. What that means is, like, she thinks someone has noticed that
Yeah, but
she's
what made her
trans
think that?
because she was talking to him, but kind of in a whisper, and she's like, "I changed my sex. I am living how I want to be." But he immediately is like, "So you think they heard you speaking in a foreign language?" He's immediately like, "You think they understand what you said?" And she's like, "Oh my god, they definitely did." She's just assuming that the focus is on her at all times. Has major, like, main character energy, I think. I don't know, weigh in. Would you look at this person and be like, "That is a trans woman. She is trans."
Frankly, given that just, like, cosmetic surgery is so common, no.
Right? She just looks like someone that's had a lot of surgery. And I mean, maybe because the surgery is kind of like an extension of her transness, because I know that a lot of trans people do struggle with body dysphoria. And the way to kind of help with that is to get these kinds of gender affirming surgeries. So for her, that is like a beacon, like it's like a lighthouse being like, this is a trans person for her.
I mean, and granted, they're also very much in a place that is not LA,
I
so
know. And, like, just looking around the restaurant, like, nobody is dressed like her and nobody is glammed out like her. She has, like, 8-inch pointy stiletto nails. She's probably wearing 8-inch heels. She probably smells like she dumped a bottle of perfume on her.
Yeah,
I
yes.
can't get over how this woman might smell. She just looks like someone who wears like 4 perfumes at once, you know what I mean? So yeah, she's just having a moment with herself. I mean, maybe this person did hear everything that she said, but I don't know why you have to let that ruin your dinner.
Yeah.
That someone like looked at you sideways.
Yeah, same. I don't know, I just feel like, "Wait, did I miss something?" Like, usually the production is good about, like, zooming in or, giving us those cues,
Oh, good point.
and and I didn't see it, and I was like, "Okay, maybe I just missed it."
Yeah. I like when they're talking about earlier in the day, she says, "I don't like us getting to that level like we did at the park."
I was like, "It was all you."
Yeah. And she says she's not gonna blow up anymore, but he needs to be serious when she's upset. I feel like that's a reasonable request because he was, like, making jokes when she was upset. She was being ridiculous, and I liked his jokes, but, if you are serious about her as a partner, maybe don't make jokes when she's, like, literally threatening to leave and screaming about how much money she sent you.
But I will say it's giving me Jasmine vibes in the sense that it's not the first time. It's not the first time that she's escalated something that shouldn't be a full blown out screaming match. So he's like, "Oh my god," like, he's just so nonchalant about it.
Yeah.
It's like, "You're not serious." He's like, neither are you. You're not
Yeah.
leaving."
I know, right? That's a good point. Yeah, so he keeps chugging wine? Like, why is he chugging the Chardonnay?
The thought that I had, which is an awful thought, I was like, "Oh my god, he's trying to get drunk so he could sleep with her."
I thought that as well.
I was
Yeah.
like, "'Cause who chugs wine? Who does that?"
I did when I was, like, 20, 22. Do you know the Franzia? It comes in a box, like the boxed
Yes,
wine. You
yes.
can take the bag out and you can, like, chug it from the bag. So, I would do that when I was, like, camping, but yeah, I wouldn't chug wine now.
Or in a restaurant,
Yeah, no, not in a restaurant, no.
like,
That's
no.
that's yeah, it was very wild to me. Yeah, and it wasn't like this restaurant that had a fun vibe. Like, it wasn't, like, loud with, like, loud music. It was, like, a bunch of couples having, like, romantic pre-feed dinner, it looked like.
I'll say this, I think that she's constantly talking about sex, and maybe that's off-putting to him. He's like, "Let it just happen." But yeah, even in the end, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready, let's go." It's like, "Oh my god, just let it happen." Like, don't even let him I don't know, she's pressuring him too
Well,
much.
she wants to get her money's worth.
Exactly, well, just tell him that.
That's not ladylike, Noemi. That's not ladylike to demand sex you've paid for.
I mean, but honestly, the audacity, if that is the arrangement that they have, and he is acting all coy, I would be so upset.
So you think he's being a terrible sugar baby?
Yes! Or a great one, I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, what do you think about this conversation about going to the gym for foreigners versus, like, his gym?
I was like, "Excuse me? Like, what about the ceilings and the foreigners? Like, what's going on there?" I
He's Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, Nikki called it out, like, "These are people you don't wanna see me with them." Um, why not say that? Because at the end of the day, I think A, she knows. B, the point is to spend time together. Let's go to another gym. Don't fight it, Nikki. Don't fight it. Let's just go to another gym together. You'll be with him.
I guess. So you don't take great offense to not going to his gym because of the low ceilings. That is such a weird excuse.
It was a Also, like, why did he have to tell her, "Not my gym, not my gym"? Just take her to a gym. Like, "Hey, I switched gyms."
Oh,
What's going on? You know?
he's a bad liar. He
He
didn't
is
play it
he
right.
Yeah, he really did. The only other thing that I could think of that is maybe it's, like, one of those, like, CrossFit gyms, you know? I don't think I would wanna take my partner to something like that. I'll take them more of a, like, fancier gym. Like, if it's gonna that's the only other excuse, but no, he's definitely, like, hiding her.
Well, yeah, he gives her this kiss on the cheek, and that seems to go a long way with her, seems to get her riled up. So we'll see how it goes next time we see them, I guess.
Well, yeah, but okay, well, I wanna get your thoughts because exactly, she called him out on it, which was spot on in my opinion, but she didn't seem upset. Where was all the anger that she was showing when because she's not getting fucked, you know? Where's all the anger of, like, being hidden for being a trans woman?
Wait, actually, now that I think about it, we didn't see, like, if there was a resolution. They didn't say which gym they were going to.
No, they didn't.
'Cause she went off being like, "I" that's, I think, where she was like, "I changed my sex, like, I'm who I am, like, you need to be you're with a trans woman now, you need to be proud about it, da 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 da." But that he never said like, "Okay, baby, we'll go to my gym even though it has low ceilings."
With your 6-inch heels. That's the reason I'm doing it for you.
Yeah, he just gives her a kiss on the cheek and then it is, like, resolved? So I'm
Yeah.
curious what they cut out.
Yeah, same here.
Well, we finally get to meet the mom in the closet. Okay, we meet Clayton, he's 30 years old from Lexington, Kentucky, and he is engaged to Anali, and we don't know her age or where she's from in Peru, but we know she's from Peru. And we meet Clayton, and he's dressing his guinea pigs, Baby Pig and Chocolate, up as firemen and a French mime or a French pig or something. He also has 2 older looking chihuahuas, Coco and Buster, who also have outfits and also seem like very annoying dogs.
I think Coco it was Coco's birthday, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah. And they show Buster, and Buster is about to, like, bite his face off. Like, this do not seem like safe animals to have close to your face.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, and then he opens the closet and mom is in the closet!
Chilling, chilling. Like, she is having the best time in there. Like, "You guys, I'm in the closet right now, and I'm already ready to get out."
Yeah, you've been in there for exactly 1 hour. You're ready to
Exactly.
leave.
I'm done. I mean, granted, if I wasn't paying rent, maybe I would be like, "Ooh, all this space."
It was also mom's idea to live in there. She, like, went and saw this apartment with him and was like, "Wow, this is great. This is a great closet I'm gonna live in. That's for me." That is the wildest part to me. It wasn't like well, it sounds like she's having a hard time, but it wasn't like he offered it or anything. She was like, "I'm living in that closet." That is the wildest part for me. And she's been there for 3 years.
3
Just
years trying to save up money. How much has she been saving? That's the real question.
they have a bunch of shit they're clearing out, prepping for Anali's arrival, and Clayton says his mom just, like, buys stuff because it looks cute, but she doesn't use it, and she's got this huge storage unit full of crap, and I guess that's where all of her savings are going. I would be
I didn't put 2 and 2 together. You
I'm
know
putting it together now.
the it gave me Larissa and Colty vibes.
So yeah, mom's been in the closet for 3 years. She says it's a little bit longer than temporary, but it's working out. This woman's never gonna leave.
Never. Never.
No. Why would she? She gets to hang out with her son and put her stacks and stacks of cork collections in his living room. So gross. I'm glad that at least he is preparing for Anali's arrival. Like so many times, these American men don't prepare at all. Like Gino with his fucking disgusting house. They just don't think about the other person's comfort at all.
Okay, this is where we disagree. I was like, "This is you preparing? This is you preparing?" Like, but let me step back. Like, the fact that they met through a not even a dating app, it was just a language app. I was like, "Oh my god, good for you taking your shot and it landed." Like, wow, I was really surprised. I was like, "Okay, okay." Like, love is everywhere, I guess. And second, 8 months in, they talk, they meet. The 4th day, correct me if I misunderstood, the 4th day that they met, he proposed to her?
Yes. Dude, this guy has no social life at all. Cause he was on a language learning app and she visited his profile and didn't say anything. So he was like, "Oh my god, a girl went to my profile. Oh my god, amazing." And then he like reached out. I'm like, this guy is like starved for human connection. This is crazy. And then he works from home and his only friend is like through the internet and they've also not met in person. So this guy like goes down to Peru, like hugs this woman and he was like, "I'm in love. Oh my god." Like
And she's like, "Well, at least she," and like, well, the fact that she said yes was ridiculous to me. I was like, but the fact that he expected more than a yes, it's also like, come on, dude, you don't know her.
he says, "I hope it wasn't by coercion or force." Like that doesn't really inspire confidence in you, dude. Like what the fuck is that about?
Oh my god. Going back to my original thought, sorry, you guys. I don't think he prepared well enough. There's still piles of nothingness. Like, yeah, it gave me anxiety to it's not organized. It's okay to have lots and lots of things, but could you organize them? Being on the floor on in piles is not it being organized.
He seems to have a vision for the space. He's like, "I need these piles of your shit to leave so I can have a dining table where I can eat dinner or breakfast with my fiance." Between him being like a dude with no social skills and mom being a weird hoarder that likes living in a closet, like there's kind of no hope for these two. Like I don't think it's gonna go that well when Anali arrives and has to deal with mom and all of her shit in the closet.
Yeah, no, I wish we had gotten more of a glimpse of the mother-son relationship because he has no backbone,
Yeah.
and it seems like Anali is going to be a little bit more like demanding. I mean, he even said it. She has no patience. If she doesn't like something, she will let you know. So I want that dynamic between the mother and her is going to be interesting. Frankly, I don't know why he hasn't had the discussion with his mom and being like, "Hey, mom, we need to work something out where you move out or we get a bigger apartment." Why is that not an
Something, yeah.
option?
I'm assuming he's not charging her rent and maybe she is on disability or something or a fixed income cuz
I mean, but he has a good quote unquote job. At least it would be a good paying job here. And isn't he a like developer?
what does he say? I think he's like a cybersecurity analyst or something. He's like in IT, I'm guessing. That actually IT I feel like can have a very big range. as far as salary. It can really depend. I'm surprised that mom doesn't have some like shelves or something in the closet. Like, where is all of her stuff?
Like, they should. I'm surprised that they are not doing the opposite. Listen, if you are going to be living in a small place that, like, why wouldn't you take the living room? Like, why do you want a closet? Like, you need privacy for what? Who are you bringing? Just get the living room, put, like, a curtain or something, create some sense of privacy, but a closet?
Yeah,
I
I have
don't
no
know.
she seems very odd. Yeah, and it's not like the living room is in use as like a chill space. There's no couch, there's no TV, there's nothing comfortable in there. It's just piles and piles of her shit.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, it's a
and
good point.
I don't know. And I mean, granted, it's also the, pets playground.
The guinea pig space.
Mhm, and the dogs. His Spanish wasn't bad, though.
Yeah, I was impressed. He like
I was like,
clearly is
"Ooh."
trying to learn it and speak to her. They seem like a genuine couple, I think. They don't seem like influencers like Nikki and Justigor or Rob and Sophie, you know. They're not on here just for social media. So there's that.
Like, I love how she calls him, and I don't remember the nickname that he gave her.
Cheeky?
Cheeky, thank you. It's like, "Cheeky," and then, like, how it's like, "Oh, but you didn't move your tail. What was that about?"
That yeah, that's kind of what made me think that they're genuine. They have their weird little relationship quirks. You know, she's like, you have to wag your tail to show that you're like happy to see me. I got it. I kind of got it. It's goofy. They're both dorks.
I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. So then he's playing some game that he's played 20,000 hours. He says the guy he's playing this game with is his best friend, and they met online when they were both young, and they haven't met yet. But he says they haven't met because of his quote work schedule and general habits. He doesn't have a social life.
Or the friend doesn't even wanna meet him.
That's, I think, more what it is. Like, he says it, like, seems to come to him in this ITM. He's like, "Wait, yeah, why haven't we met? We're both adults with money and we could travel and, like, meet each other." I imagine, like, this friend is like, you know, he is Clayton's best friend, but, like, for this guy, Clayton is far from, like, his best friend, you know?
Exactly. He was like, "No, I actually have real life friends. Thank
Yeah,
you."
I have friends in they're human people that I see in person. So, he asked his friend about the fact that Anali's dad doesn't know that she's engaged, even though he calls her, like, 20 times a day.
Okay, I first he's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna throw a scenario." I was like, "No, it's not a scenario, it's real life. This is not a hypothetical. Let's clarify. This is happening, okay?"
Oh my god.
And, yes, like, I don't know which one was more worrisome, the fact that she talks to her dad 20 times in a day, or the fact that she hasn't told him. Because I my parents are constantly like, "Why don't you call me?" So, imagine calling them 20 times. I don't know.
It's giving Manuel vibes, just like Manuel and Ashley, because he just like
Oh,
bounced
yes, yes,
without
yes.
bounced
Yes,
without telling anyone. And like, why does this need to be a secret?
yes, and also, why do they both have to be Latino? Like, what is going on, you guys?
You're
We
like, slander for my people.
exactly, I was like, "Wait."
Yeah, his friend gives him the advice that he needs to get straight with the dad.
He has no backbone. He has, like, no Frankly, that is have you not learned anything? We had this with who also hadn't told their parents in the previous 90 Day Fiancé? We've had at least 2 instances.
Chantel with Chantel and Pedro. There's probably been more, but that one was the most glaring.
Yes, so it's like, you don't start off a relationship like this, you know? And also, it's like, anything about Latino culture slash men machismo really is they're gonna respect you a little bit more if you are forthcoming. You know, if you are hiding, especially if you're hiding behind your woman, it's like, "Oh my god," like, that dad is gonna be like, "Really? Him?" Like, he's gonna be scared to let you go with somebody that is not gonna, like, quote, unquote, "take care of you."
So yeah, Anali isn't really setting him up for success here either by like giving him the opportunity. Like how is he supposed to like find her dad and tell him? I guess he was there. He was in Peru and proposed. He could have been like, "Okay, well, let's go meet your family," or maybe just instead of doing it spontaneously after 4 days, he could have met her family first.
I don't know. I don't know what's the, logic behind not meeting your significant other's parents when there's clearly a relationship, that they
Mhm.
have, and it's gonna be eventually an issue.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's a scary cat. Like, he even said it. He's like, "I don't like the chance of him saying no, I don't wanna take it."
Yeah, that's not a good reason to not do something. But also, Anali is a grown woman. Like her parents can't like rip the K1 visa out of her hands. I guess maybe that's why she wants to do it this way so then they don't have as much of an influence, but it's just shitty all around. It's really shitty.
Yeah. I think that is exactly why she's doing it this way. Because like, he I don't think she's telling them, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to the US." Was the excuse? She's, like, studying or something? So, yeah, no, she is definitely she just wants to leave, and she's not gonna tell her parents.
Not setting him up for success.
I wanna know, does she has she been walked around the apartment she's gonna be living in? Like, "Hey, this is where you're coming to live." I mean, she clearly asked, "Have you been preparing for my arrival?" But does she understand?
I mean, we don't know how young she is. She might be young and not understand how specific you have to be with like expectations with stuff like this. She, she's probably like, "Are you preparing?" But she's not saying like, "I want there to be a couch, a coffee table, a television. I want your mom's shit to be organized and not all over the living room." It sucks that with stuff like this, and especially with like men, you have to be like that freaking specific. But I have a feeling that she hasn't been. And so then he's going to be like, "Oh, well, all her shit is in a pile over there, but I don't have any couch for you to sit on." And he's going to think that that's great, you know?
I don't know. I also thought, "Oh my god, he is not gonna be playing video games as much when she's here. It's gonna be an
Oh,
issue."
yeah, that's a good point. He said he played 20,000 hours of that game, which they calculated to like 2 straight years of just that game.
When
My
you break your habits into that math, it makes
Yeah,
me worried
spooky.
about my habits.
What do you think is something that you've done for 2 years straight in your life?
I don't wanna share.
Okay, that's fine. I'm trying to think if I have anything that I've done. Probably just being on, like, dumb games on my phone.
Probably watching stupid TV.
Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah, sitting on the couch just melting my brain for sure.
Exactly.
But then how would I do this? How would I be on this incredibly successful podcast, if I wasn't doing
Exactly. So, you know, we have that going.
for sure. All right. Anything else about them? We didn't get a ton about them.
Yeah, we didn't get a ton. I think I do look forward to seeing the dynamic between the 3 because this is not a relationship of 2, it's a relationship of 3. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. I mean, the mom seems kind of chill, but,
For now.
yeah, for now, because frankly, if yeah, no, if you're okay living in a closet.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Devin and Nick, and then we'll end with Gino and Jasmine. So I've been to Korea once, and I am just so obsessed, and seeing it again makes me want to go. Just the cities are so beautiful, and everything's happening, and all the food looks so good.
The food did look good.
Yeah. What'd you think about Devin's reaction to being in a big city?
She's so cute. But also, I think, like, for me, because she's just an introvert, I am more kind towards her. I'm just like, "Oh, I understand," you know? Like, she seems so sweet. Yeah, no, I think that they're the couple that I'm rooting for or that seems the most legit for me at
Totally.
this season. So, yeah, I want them to succeed.
The way that she is so quiet and reserved, and the way that he has sauce all over his face when they're, like, eating on the street, I'm like, "Okay, these people are very real." I'm like, "Why are they on this show?" But because they seem so real and unbothered by the nature of, like, being on TV. But yeah, Devin is like perplexed by all the lights and the fact that things are open 24 hours. I'm like, have you left Cersei? Oh, I guess she went to Australia. That's where they met.
Exactly, that's why I was like, "Wait, you act like you've never been outside of your hometown."
Yeah, she really seems like a country bumpkin. She's got a pretty thick accent and she just like looks lost all the time.
She's so adorable.
He jokes and says that in the ITM that he doesn't want to go to Searcy, Arkansas. He's like, I don't want to go to Arkansas. Just kidding. And I'm like, you don't want to go to Searcy, Arkansas.
Yeah, you're
Are you
not.
kidding me? Seoul is like, it's just one of the most beautiful, wonderful cities I've ever been to. And I know he doesn't live there. He lives in Daejeon, but it's only an hour away. He could hang out in Seoul like anytime.
Do you happen to know the actual distance
I did.
between.
I looked it up. So okay, and this is crazy. Like, why can't we have nice things in the US?
Yeah, it's because I was thinking about that train, huh? That's the
Yeah.
reason why it only took an hour.
Yeah, it was an hour. It's 160 kilometers, high-speed trains. There's 109 departures every day on this train line from Seoul to wherever it goes south to where he's going. 109 departures of a high-speed train, and
That
it
is
only takes
crazy.
an hour to go 160 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles, but that's not a short distance.
I haven't been outside of the United States, but if I do, that's definitely a city that it's on my bucket list. I am just like it looks like futuristic. Like, isn't that what we all want? I
Yeah,
really was like, "Hey, why is she well, never mind." My thought was, "Why doesn't she move over there?" But no, like you said, that's not for her. And now I
probably not.
understand why she feels so guilty, like the guilt that she's carrying. I'm like, I hear you, but also it's really not your fault.
Yeah, I really appreciate that about her, that she does seem, and why I like am rooting for them and it seems like they're genuine, because it does seem like she truly understands the enormity of the sacrifice that
Mhm.
he's making by coming to the US and what a huge change this is going to be. I don't know, but yeah, if I somehow tomorrow fell in love with someone from South Korea, I'd be like, "Yeah, take me there. I'm on Duolingo. Like, let's go. I want high-speed trains and kimchi and awesome skincare."
Exactly.
I know. I have so many dreams for the next time I go to Seoul, and I wanna get, like, all the laser facials I can
Ugh,
and, like, just
all
spend, like, whole days in the jjimjilbang, the steam rooms. Ugh, wanna go so bad.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. All of my TikToks are just skincare Korean, and I'm like, "Yeah, someday, someday."
That's awesome. So it looks like she's trying she's a country bumpkin, but it looks like she's trying, like, spicy food. She's tried intestine. She didn't like it, but she tried it. So I thought that was cool. Like, yeah, I like them even though she seems really, like, I don't know, timid and introverted and sensitive, you know?
Yeah. I couldn't get over his hair. I love his hair. Amazing hair.
It's like the Jonathan Taylor Thomas haircut that we grew
Yes.
up that was, like, so many millennial women's, like, first crush.
Maybe that's what it was. I was like,
I think I think that might
"W
be it.
yeah," I was like, "Why am I attracted to you?" Like, what? Like, I love your hair. Anyways, I just couldn't get over it.
So they didn't break the bed and
No, 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 no. I think they did.
you think they fucked?
No, they did. Cause she's like, "You're lying," and then he goes on to say the "you farted" joke, and she still gave him a look like, "You're still lying."
Oh, so he was he was trying to be cheeky.
Yes, I
Okay.
think so. I'm sure they got it in at least once. Maybe they didn't break the bed, but you know.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to, like, be coy and, not say all of her business on TV.
Especially because after he's like, "Oh, yeah, my mom thinks all American women have one night stands." I was like, "Mm,
That was so funny. They think that we just party all night, we have one night stands and are on drugs. I think that's so wild. I'm so curious where they're getting this information. Like, is it just movies or is it the news? I'm like,
I'm gonna say 90% of it is the movies." I'm hoping that there's not news about us being out here.
yeah, actually, I guess there are a lot of movies with just like casual sex all over the place,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, listen.
I've read about Korean dating culture because again, I were to fall in love with a Korean person, I would move there
I'm
in a
ready.
heartbeat. Like, I'm ready. But it does seem like their dating culture, like, dating moves very fast. Like, you go from, like, the we're talking phase that we would have in the US in our contemporary dating culture would be, like, 2 days in Korea, and they wanna, like, lock it down and, like, you are boyfriend, girlfriend by, like, the end of a week or whatever. It just, like, moves at a rate that I would be so uncomfortable with.
What about in terms of, like, the parent like, what's the role of the parents? It seems like they have a lot of say in it.
I don't know a lot about that, but, I mean, just judging from, like, what I know about my friends who have, like, East Asian immigrant parents and South Asian immigrant parents, it's like, yeah, the family does hold a lot of sway. I'm curious if, like, he says his father isn't super friendly and his mother is a serious career woman, and he thinks that she's gonna be overwhelmed and cry, but, like, are his parents gonna be, like, on their worst behavior meeting their potential daughter-in-law, like, the first time? Like,
No, but I think part of it is already the fact that he's leaving, you
yeah.
know? So the first time you're meeting, it's more of like, "Oh, and we're leaving."
Yeah. They're just gonna have a negative impression of her because of that.
I think that she's already, like, having to convince them that she's good. And then she ends up crying, which is unfortunate. I was like,
Yeah.
"Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry."
I'm like,
But
"What?" I'm curious what would make her cry, or if just the anxiety of meeting them is enough to, like, make her cry, which if it's the latter, like, that's really unfortunate. Girl needs to work on her self-esteem and her anxiety, because that's a little much.
Yeah, but also, I guess it's like, you guys, you've been having a conversation long distance. Have you never been like, "Hey, ama, this is my,"
Yeah,
like, you guys do not help each other. All of these
yeah.
relationships are just like,
Yeah, and I guess we don't know. I know he lived in Australia, but I don't know if he's, like, living with his parents now that he's back
ah,
in South Korea.
yeah,
Because,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, if he is, then it is super dumb that he hasn't done what you're saying, which been like, "Hey, mom, this is Devin, da da da." Or maybe he has, but it's just super awkward because they don't speak each other's language.
Oh, that's true too. That's true too. Yeah. I don't know. I am rooting for them. We'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, it just goes back to, I know he did say if they don't approve, that's going to ruin everything. But no, you're also an adult. Like, I hope that you are confident enough in the relationship that you're like, no, I'm leaving regardless.
I mean, look at Jenny and Sumit. It took them like 8 years and disapproving parents and Sumit getting disowned, and they stayed married anyway, but they actually just broke up. Isn't that crazy?
I'm so sad for her.
Really?
She was giving me hope that I was gonna find the love of my life at, like, an older age. It's like, oh, so all that fight for why? Ugh.
Their ordeal, yeah, that was quite an ordeal to just go and break up after they
Exactly.
weren't even married that long, like, maybe 3 years? Like, that's nuts.
And the mom is like, "I told you so."
And she sold all of her furniture and moved there. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm glad you know about them. I'm glad your brain is as mush as I am watching this all these seasons.
I honestly loved watching that season, like, with them. Their story was amazing, but anyway. The last thing I definitely was like, "Clean your mouth. Just wipe your mouth. Please just wipe your mouth. Just, like, tell her you have something right here. Be like Nikki and be like, 'Let me lick that.'" Like, I was like, "Come on." But that's
I
it.
know she wasn't helping him at all. Like, there's a camera, like, in your faces, like, give him a little wipe, like, help him out. Oh my god. I would never wanna let someone film me eating.
Dang. I Okay, so I when I made that when I noticed that, I was like, "Yep, this is why I like eating alone, because I am also a very messy eater." Like, I would never, never.
Oh my god, so funny. Alright, so Jasmine is covered in a rash. She's scratching all over. They did an ITM with her face all broken out. Yeah, and she says she thinks it's the dust and the dirtiness of the house. Gino thinks maybe it's the laundry detergent or the almonds that she's eaten. And then she says that she's like sent photos to her doctor in Panama and he says it's dermatitis. What did you think that these hives were?
I think it's definitely the house. I'm sorry, but, like, when he got overly defensive, I was like, "Do you remember we saw a whole dookie?"
I love that he's like, "I don't I don't I don't think my house is dirty. Like, I'm not like a hoarder. It's not like a hoarder house. It's not dirty. I don't live like a slob." But then the producers zoom in on the disgusting brown toilet, all of the grease, the like 20 years of grease on his disgusting stove. And I just thought it was mwah. like, so beautiful. So, I I get where she's coming from. I do think she's allergic to almonds.
Oh, you do?
Because then they take her to the doctor and she gets shots and it's fine. Like, it's an
Ah,
allergic it's an internal allergic reaction. Like, I don't think shots would cure dermatitis.
that
Like,
makes
her whole face was
sense.
in a
Her
freaking rash.
Oh, okay, well then, listen, we stand corrected.
I mean, I don't know if I'm right. That's just my thought. I'm not trying to say that he doesn't live like a slob. I would be horrified to have to live there. And the fact that he accuses her of living in a dirty apartment with
With
mice,
mice. Oh, she went livid.
and that's so stupid of him because he knows that's not true.
You think so? I believe that the way she got so angry.
I think well, then she's like, "Look at your bathroom. Did my bathrooms ever look like that?" Like, are you fucking kidding me? There's a dookie in your toilet right now. Like, give me a break. I bet that there was like a mouse one time, but she lives in Panama. It's like when you're in tropical places like that, it's just like there's more like life to get in stuff. If you're not living in a 20 floor apartment, there's going to be bugs, there's going to be mice, there's going to be cockroaches and stuff. That's just how life is.
Okay, okay, that's a good point. I'll say though, yeah, and yeah, it was very they're always like this. They're very defensive
Yeah.
and they like attack one another. I will say though, while she was going on and on about it, I was just like, I know, Jasmine, just clean. If it's the cleaning, start cleaning. Like, if it's that's the issue, get to it.
They both want each other to take accountability in these ways that they're just never going to. Like, it's just not gonna happen for either of them because both of them have these huge, stupid egos, and they don't know how to talk to each other, and it's I mean, that's why they're such great TV, but it is definitely hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah, basically. I mean, yeah. Yeah, like, I feel like there was no resolution, but then the next scene, it was like, we forgot about that.
I
Well,
guess, yeah.
I guess the resolution was that they did take her to urgent care, never mind. She did go to urgent care and got that sorted.
I'm also like, if I came upstairs and my partner looked like that, I wouldn't sit there bickering with him. I'd be like, "Get in the car, we're going to urgent care. Are you kidding me?" Like, I'm not gonna sit there bickering about what is making your face break out like that. I'm going to fix the breakout.
Well, but okay, in his defense, Jasmine was instead of being like, "Yo, like, no, this is serious," she was also using it as a like, "You need to change this, and this," you know? So she was also weaponizing it, frankly. I would have been like, "Oh."
Yeah. So then they go to some Walmart or something, and Jasmine bothers this minimum wage employee asking how many times she replaces her pillows a year.
I felt I had to look that up because I was like, "Am I filthy?"
What was
Like,
the what did your data say?
it said 1 or 2 years. It's not 6 months. I was like, "6 months? What is this, a toothbrush?" Like, no. Like, you don't change it? I was like, "That's crazy. I have not been doing it." So, no, it's 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, 6 months, that sounded like really frequent. That's also
Yeah,
sounds just very wasteful to me.
that same,
Like,
same.
6 months? Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't like how she like, in front of a stranger, frankly, she was minimizing Gino. Like, she's like, "Well, my partner" is like, "Oh my god," like, this lady doesn't care, you know? She's already answering your question, and, like, frankly, I would've told her, "I don't know." Like, she's like, "You probably know because you work here." No one knows how often you have to change your pillows, and now you're like, "Well, my partner." Oh my god, I was like, "Okay, lady."
Honestly, though, like, who else does she have to complain to right now? Oh my god, she's gonna be that weird person in like, because she has nobody else to talk to in Michigan, she's gonna be that weird person who, like, has to tell her life story to, like, the
Yes!
cashier at every store that she goes to.
Okay, what do you think about, like, going from we know Jasmine as a mother, but never really hearing or seeing her children, to all of a sudden, we get more glimpses of her and motherhood.
I think maybe just to show that, like, this immigration process for them is higher stakes than all of their, like, stupid arguments. They've been on 2 seasons of Before the 90, and now they're on 90 Day. Like, I think they're going to be around for a while. Like, it seems like production seems to like them. They seem to do, the scripted production bits and hype it all up for TV, even though Gino is the worst actor that I've ever seen. So I think that is probably all part of it.
That's true. That's actually a good point. I'm here for it. I like seeing her cry like that. I'm like, "How do you do it?" Like, granted, this one scene, I do think it was genuine. Like, her tears for her children, I felt it. But I Gino's reaction to her pouring her heart was like, "Ooh, that is me in those situations." Like, he's like,
Just super
uh,
awkward.
yes. I was like, "This is your, like, soon to be wife. Why are you still so awkward with her about something so, like, personal?"
He, like, goes in for this awkward hug, and she, like, pushes him off of her at a certain point. He's, like, all over her, and she, like, pushes him away, and I thought that was hilarious. Oh my god.
It's an interesting dynamic that they're having in the States.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And then they check out, and she says it's a historical event that Gino bought 2 pillows for 12.99 each.
that poor lady's like, "You're still here, why me? I'm not the only one working here." I felt bad for Gino, like, she doesn't help him. I get it, it's a joke, and it's hard for me to judge because I'm the type of person that will make that type of joke, but it's like
He's not innocent in any of
he's
this.
not.
He knows what he signed up for.
That's
Like,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you. I needed that reminder.
Yeah, he's far from innocent in any of this, even though he plays dumb. So, next time on, I wrote down that Clayton is feeling pressure because Anali shows up. Manuel says his private life is his and it's private, and they're already going to couples counseling. How long do you think he's been here before they're going to couples counseling?
What was that, like, less than a week, no? It's
Probably,
been, like,
yeah.
less than a week. Those are also a lot of red flags with that relationship. But I
Yeah.
honestly like that relationship. I was kinda bummed that they weren't in this episode. I like watching
What do you
them.
like about it? Just that they're weird together? The dynamic is weird?
Well, no, I love Ashley. I don't know why I love her. I just think she's, like, trying, she's present, like, I'm rooting for her. And him, I'm just like, I like his accent. That's it. For him, that's it. Nothing about
Like,
anything other than his accent.
it's Ecuador, right? Yeah, Ecuadorian. Yeah, Ashley just is she just seems like she wears her heart on her sleeve. Like, yeah, that's a good way to describe her is just, like, present. Like, I think a lot of the witchy stuff is about being present with, like, yourself and your environment, and she's in it. She's not a joke. She, like,
Yeah,
is really doing it. I think, yeah, she just, like, falls hard, and
hard.
she's gotten herself in a kind of a weird situation. And then we get a glimpse of Nikki meeting Justigor's friends, and she tells a lot about her story. I'm very interested to watch that.
I was really thrown off by the friend saying this, like, what was it? Like, "Oh, I'm just surprised that he will go for this type of person, or instead of
Mhm.
being like this type of woman. I was just like, rude. I don't know, it felt rude. Maybe I'm overreading it.
I mean, he keeps saying people in Moldova have they're very small-minded. It's a very, closed off culture, so I think this will be enlightening for Nikki probably. She also seems like she's sharing a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, and then Jasmine finds a lip gloss and that looks hilarious.
That looks hilarious and a little bit staged. That one, I was like, who is getting in the car?
She is a really good actor though. Like she's very convincing with her crying.
Yes.
Okay, I have a fuck Mary kill for you.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, go.
So, living in a closet, living with guinea pigs, or living with your mom.
Okay. Me and my mom have a really good relationship. So I will marry her. I am killing the closet idea. Like that to me would have no, 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 no. And the guinea pigs, fuck it. We'll
One
fuck
night
him.
stand living
Yeah,
with guinea pigs.
exactly. We that's doable.
Okay, I feel like yeah, I would have very different answers.
Okay, go, go. I'm interested.
I would kill living with the mom. I could not do it at all. Never, never. I'm happy that you can pick that, but I think I'd end up probably fucking living in a closet, just try it for one night, and then I'd end up. I guess I'm living with guinea pig.
Which you cannot eat in the States, okay,
Oh my god!
Roxy?
Oh, we didn't even talk about.
You
I c-
cannot eat them.
I couldn't tell if he was concerned about her eating them or just like needed to bring up that this was something that they did in Peru.
I think it was his way of doing small talk.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
hoping.
All right. Well, that's all for us. Thank you so much for being here, Noemi. And we'll catch you next week for more stupidity. Bye.